Hey, welcome into another edition of Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us as we draw closer and closer to the magical Christmas holiday. Look, I'm in festive Christmas red.
You are. You're very festive.
Bill is wearing a very festive Christmas tie.
Christmas tie.
I think we need a close-up
Marty's
of that
lining
tie.
up to get a close-up of this tie. This is
Zing, zing, zing,
one of my
zing.
favorites. This is because you got to be up close to be able to tell that it's a Christmas tie. Mm-hmm. You know, from 10 feet away, it looks just like a tie.
It looks like, what is that, cauliflower?
Yeah, it looks like a tie with a design on it. But actually, it's a zillion little Santas.
So we got a close on that tie. Let's go.
Got a close-up on it? You ready? Yeah, look at there.
Bingo.
There's
Look at
Santa
that.
Claus.
Man,
Ho, ho, ho.
when I see that, I just want to get drunk on eggnog.
Yeah, and say, you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope
Yes.
your Christmas
Happy
plans
holidays. Merry Christmas to all of you. Glad you joined. For those of you who lived where it used to snow, take a look outside. If that is not a
like
snow sky, I have
really does.
never seen one.
Bill and I were commenting on that earlier this morning. It looked so much like a typical snow day in Pennsylvania or Illinois. I mean, you'd see the sky look like that, the gray, that quality of the clouds. It was like snow.
Well,
but the weather says the precip has moved out.
yeah, but you still got all these heavy clouds. The 41 degrees right now in Baton Rouge with a wind chill of 36.
Yay.
So if there were precipitation, you'd be able to see a little bit of it before it hit the ground and became just old water.
I came well armed. We did our podcast earlier this morning at La Divina Italian Cafe at the corner of Acadian and Perkins here in the capital city. By the way, if you're ever passing through Baton Rouge, or if you live in Baton Rouge and you haven't treated yourself to La Divina, I can't recommend it highly enough. I mean, for breakfast, they make awesome breakfasts and great coffees. But then there's lunch and there's dinner too. So drop by La Divina Cafe.
But you came with a hot latte, didn't you?
I brought myself this is a cappuccino.
Oh, cappuccino.
So like a monk. There's a monk in there.
There's a capuchin monkey in there.
That's what it is. A capuchin monkey.
You don't have any booze in there?
No, I didn't have any with me to
You're missing.
spice it up a
You're
little
missing
bit.
part of the bet there if you don't have booze in your cappuccino.
However, yesterday I went to the liquor store and got myself well armed for the holidays.
What'd you get?
It's always good to have some Captain Morgan spiced rum or whatever spiced rum you prefer. So got a bottle of that. Always good to have some. You've got to have some kind of a Bailey's. Got a big bottle of Bailey's because we will go through the Bailey's during the holidays. And then we always like to have some kind of a chocolate liqueur. So a lot of times it's just regular cream to cacao, but I actually didn't find any. So I went with Godiva chocolate liqueur.
That's good stuff.
Not yet. I'm hoping that Santa brings me the Crown Royal apple, Clarence.
I too went and bought some adult beverages. A friend of mine, after many, many years of not, has turned into a Scotch drinker. And I just happened to run across Glenmorangie, which is a really good Highland single malt, so it doesn't hurt you. And got that for him. And the bourbon company, Evan Williams, is now doing eggnog. So you don't have to buy that Pennsylvania Dutch stuff that's pretty, there's not much nog in with that egg. But I
like my eggnog heavy on the nog.
listen, let me tell you what, Evan Williams, they got nog in that egg. We sampled it, and it's very tasty, but you can tell that it's got the proper amount of nog in with the egg. But I also sparklings seem to be in kind of short supply, so I've been buying some sparklings when I can find them.
I have actually found some terrific deals now. You know that it's I guess a relatively pedestrian American brand of sparkling wine, Corbel.
Corbel?
My wife and I like Corbel Extra Dry. Found that for about $10 a bottle.
That is a bargain.
At Hi Neighbor. Bing, there your neighbor. And also found a great deal on, you're familiar with Jordan Vinries?
Oh, yes.
The big J on the bottle?
I love their stuff.
Oh, that is good.
I love
good
their
stuff.
sparkling.
So we socked in about 4 bottles of that for the holidays.
By the way, they also, their Cabernet is probably one of the top 3 California Cabernets every single year.
Now, I heard a couple of years ago that the Jordan Vineyards were bought by Ernest and Julio Gallo. And I didn't know what to make of that because when I think Gallo, I don't think high quality wow, this is the best wine on the planet. I think this is what you get at the drugstore.
Let me tell you a story.
You like Gallo?
Well, I used to do that show about wine many years ago.
It's been a while.
And it's been a while, but I didn't know this. The Gallo family has been buying high-end wineries for 20 years.
Really?
And actually, one of the most expensive brands out there, and it's got a name like Insignia, but that's Joseph Phelps. But it's got, it'll come to me.
It'll come to you during the commercial, probably.
It's a bottle of Cabernet that you will spend $75 on. That is a Gallo wine.
Maybe they're smart not to put their name on it because their name is not associated with fine wine.
Well, they, years ago, to make a lot of money and finance the ventures, they had to have a supermarket wine, which is what Gallo is. But they make some very, very high-end wines, and they buy either in total or in percentage some of the best wineries in California. They do some good stuff.
We need to see if we can get a wine and sparkling wine expert on the show before New Year's.
I think I know just the person.
We'll talk during the commercial about if it's the same person. But if it's the person I'm thinking, would love to. Would love to. We're going to take our first break of the hour. Later on, in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about business and the business of Louisiana and how soon might it be able to get back to normal now that COVID vaccine is starting to go around. Stephen Waguespack, the president and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, is our scheduled guest today on Exiles TV. That's all coming up. Hope you'll stay with us.
Taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Back with Exiles TV, Bill Profita over there. Kevin Gallagher right here. Let's do the crime blotter a little bit here.
Holy crap.
Another interesting shooting story that this one happened in our nearby neighbor of Geismar.
This is Chamber of Commerce crime if ever I've seen it.
This happened at a Harvest supermarket in Geismar.
Nice supermarket. I've been there. It's kind of like a Rouse's. A very nice supermarket.
These three individuals, now it was two men and a woman who were in a car in the supermarket parking lot. Got into an argument. One dude decided he was going to pull out a gun and shoot the other guy. The woman was trying to defuse the situation. She wound up with a bullet in the arm. She ran into the store and called authorities, and Sheriff Bobby Weber and his deputies came to the scene. Well, I don't know if the sheriff came to the scene, but the deputies came to the scene and arrested 29-year-old Seth Vinette, or is it Vinay, and 28-year-old Chris Fontenot. Now, I want you to understand those names, Vinay and Fontenot. Those are the kinds of names usually associated with someone with this skin tone right here, and in fact, they were. So, you know, those of you out there that want to think that all this gunplay and murder and everything is purely a quote-unquote community issue, no, it is not.
These boys both look like their parents were first cousins or maybe brother and sister, both of them.
Yep.
The genes had gone through the sieve 8 or 9 times, judging from the height of the forehead on these two.
Yep, and I would say, just judging from complexion, condition of teeth in these mugshots, that there's some crystal meth being consumed on the side here. But they both, been arrested. One for illegal use of a firearm and negligent injuring and aggravated assault with a firearm. The other with disturbing the peace and simple battery, and now they are guests of Ascension Parish.
Holy crap.
Yipes. Meanwhile, it was, I think, for Baton Rouge itself, somewhat quiet night.
Somewhat quiet, meaning we didn't have a murder?
Yeah, I didn't even read about a non-fatal shooting. Of course, this is one of the things that is being alleged, is that we're not being told about the non-fatal shootings. For one reason or another, we're just not being told when non-fatal shootings occur here in Baton Rouge.
Well, then the reporters are not doing their job and going to the police blotter.
Because all that's public information.
Yeah, well, it used to be a reporter from the Advocate, one from 2, one from 9,
Yeah.
one from 3344. Back in the day, one from WJBO. You'd all go.
Your beat was the local crime beat, and you would call your PIO and say, "What do you got for me today?"
And you'd go and look at it yourself. So you could get the names and all that correctly entered, if there was in fact name on the record at that point.
Now, we talked about this yesterday. I'm going to turn this upward with some good news. The Bridge Center for Hope in Baton Rouge, which is a nice name. What it is a mental health intake facility that we have needed for so long in this city.
For people in crisis.
Those of you who have listened to me and Bill on the radio in years past, and listened to Clarence, and watched our programs and our various podcasts and things, know that we have advocated for this thing ever since it was first conceived. First, it was a tax that was passed to help fund it. Now, a little over 2 years since we approved, 2 years?
2 years.
Since we approved the tax. The Bridge Center for Hope opened yesterday. It opens officially for a public tour of its facilities. I think it's open right now at this hour.
Yeah, from 9 till 3 today. It's in the 3400 block of Florida Boulevard. Members of the public are invited to go and take a tour.
What this means, for those of you that don't understand what a mental health intake facility is, we have people on our streets that are not criminals. They're just in a bad way. A lot of people don't like using the word crazy because that's pejorative, but there are a lot of people that when they have encounters with the police because they're disturbing the police, they're scaring patrons going in and out of a business or something. It's that guy, the guy in the parking lot that's acting irrational and stuff. Up until now, when police encountered them, they had 2 choices. Take them to the emergency room. There's not a lot an emergency room can do for you if you're mentally ill. Or take them to jail, and there's absolutely nothing the jail can do for you if you're mentally ill, except maybe make things worse.
Yeah, can sedate you if they know your history, and many times these people do not tell them their history.
We have had cases where mentally ill people, and I mean in East Baton Rouge Parish, we've had cases where mentally ill people were taken to jail, and they never left, because for one reason or another, they took their own life while they were in jail. Not a lot, but it's happened. And that's a very sad thing. Now we have a place where the mentally ill can be taken, where they can receive proper treatment and hopefully get on some path to recovery.
Well, and we've heard the stories firsthand. You've probably heard them too, about police officers from all the different agencies. They get somebody that they know is not a criminal, but they've been called because this person is acting irrationally, disturbing the peace, perhaps making threats, and they try real hard to find a relative. Or they'll take them to like St. Vincent de Paul and say, can you take this person? And they'll take them to an emergency room and they'll say, well, we'll evaluate them, but there's not much we can do other than that. And this person ends up being in jail, which doesn't help. It makes things a lot worse. So now, for the sake of the cops and the person, we've got this bridge center. It's really going to be a godsend. And they don't just sit there and keep them for the night. They will keep people up to 3 or 4 days, and then they will place them in a treatment facility that will care for them, that is appropriate to their condition. There's a physician, there are nurses there, and they also have what they call sobering rooms. If someone's problem is that they're just drunk and stupid, they will actually have a sobering room for them. And then they'll see if they have a chronic problem with this and need some help.
Right, because sometimes a drunk is mentally ill and vice versa.
Yeah.
Here is one more before we go to break, and this is from the city of New Orleans, and this is what I like to call from our EU file. A New Orleans man accused of faking a disability to trick women into babysitting him and changing his diapers
Oh, this old scam again?
has been sentenced to 5 years probation. Rutledge Diaz IV pled guilty Monday to 4 counts of human trafficking, possession of methamphetamines, and possession of drug paraphernalia. The human trafficking charge can obtain a person's personal service through include obtaining a person's personal services through fraud. I mean, that counts as human trafficking.
That hardly seems fair.
They discovered Diaz had posed on babysitting apps pretending to be a relative of a man named Corey who had mental and physical disabilities, the agency said. Diaz hired women, including a 20-year-old college student, to take care of Corey. Corey was actually him. The online post said to treat the man as if he were a child, including changing his diaper. Diaz's lawyers alleged the defendant...
This has been done before in the New Orleans area. It may be the same guy.
He alleged the defendant suffered from mental health. His lawyer says he suffers from mental health and substance abuse problems. Diaz described his actions as a response to severe childhood trauma.
He wasn't a former television news anchor, was he?
In other words, severe childhood trauma means they left that diety on him for a couple of days.
Oh.
Ew. Okay. I just want to share that mug with you, Bill.
That's the guy.
It's the same guy?
From 3 years ago. That's the guy.
The same guy?
Yeah.
Wow. She changed my diaties. And all I can say to that is,
Well, did she have a statement? The woman who was hired and who obviously...
There's nothing in this AP story, from the...
I'd like to hear her
victim.
account. I want to hear what she told the cops to get the arrest warrant. That's got to be good reading.
I would love to see the file on this case. All right, we're going to take another break, take care of some business. When we return, the LABI, the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, we're going to do a little outlook into 2021 and talk about some other things with Stephen Waguespack, their president and CEO. That's coming up next on Exiles.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
You could be driving.
Right now, during the Team Honda Upgrade event, get a new 20 Accord Sport for just $309 a month with no money down, no first payment, and no security deposit. It's time to upgrade to your new Honda at Louisiana's #1 new car dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
TV. Glad to have you with us as we edge nearer to Christmas and then nearer to the end of this. Not yet. Wait till I finish.
You put the
God
kibosh.
awful year 2020. Okay, now. See what I mean? See what I mean?
I can't think of a year that I've been more anxious to say goodbye to than 2020. But joining us once again is our good friend Stephen Waguespack, the president and CEO. I keep wanting to call you executive director.
You call me whatever you want, man.
President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, known affectionately to some as the LABI or LABI. I don't like LABI. I like the initials.
I'm an LABI fan, but when you say LABI, it's just easier to kind of like flow it in there.
Yeah.
Most people say LABI.
You know why I don't like lobby? Because it sounds like lobby.
Yeah, that's why I don't like it either.
There's some people have a negative connotation with lobbyists.
Yeah. Sure. And we do so much more. I mean, part of our advocacy is a big part of what we do, but obviously we do a lot of other things. And so I prefer LABI. But look, on this show, amongst friends, you call us whatever the heck you want. That's
well, I think the lobbyists in general get a rough reputation when sometimes it's their influence that makes the bill any good at all.
Well, and a lot of times what they do is they give people a voice that wouldn't have the chance to have one.
Exactly.
Because most people who, they're working, they're doing their daily thing, they're in carpool, they're just kind of making life work. They don't have the ability to be there in the Capitol. If they can have someone representing their beliefs for them, it goes a long way to making sure that the dark corners of the Capitol aren't making all the decisions without other people's input.
Well, there is a lot of sunlight that comes into the process because of governmental relations specialists.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't call them lobbyists anymore. You call them governmental relations.
I like that, Bill.
Yeah. But as we get near the end of this god-awful year,
it's a bad one.
How are the business sectors reacting? Are they hopeful for 2021? What are you all seeing? Your membership is very, very vast, and you go from the very small to the mega businesses. What are you hearing?
Look, just like you all were saying earlier, just the fact that get 2020 over with, I think that is what everyone's focused on right now. I think as the vaccine starts to roll out, the hope is that kind of instills a little consumer confidence out there. If people at home, who are seeing vaccines being distributed and it going okay, it gives them confidence to get out and about and start visiting more. That helps bring customers to the marketplace. But I think going into 2021, most of what I hear is kind of uncertainty and a cautious approach. I mean, people are going to take a wait and see approach to see how it goes. So I don't expect to see heavy capital spends early. I don't expect that early on the year. I think people are going to wait and see what January, February feels like, what consumer demand's going to be, how the vaccine rollout's going to go, what the new administration in federal and DC is going to look like. People are going to do a wait and see on that. Now, having said all that, I think we are primed to bounce back pretty quickly once the boot is taken off the neck of the economy. And so all we got to do is have our elected leaders and our policymakers say, okay, let's open back up. We can trust this vaccine. We can trust that people are smart enough to know how to self-social distance or self-mask or whatever you have to do to be precautionary. Once policymakers and elected officials start trusting people again, I do think the economy can run pretty quickly because people are ready to get back and engage, I think, all across the state.
So what I'm hearing is Q1 is pretty much going to be a throwaway, and we're hoping for some upturn maybe in Q2?
I think Q1's a wait and see. I wouldn't say throwaway because if it starts off and if January goes well, it could bounce pretty quickly in February. I don't think balance sheets in many companies are as bad as we feared they were going to be. But so they can, go jump back quickly, but they're not going to do it until they see how this vaccine rolls out and see how the market responds to it.
Yeah, a lot of companies are retaining cash until they see what happens.
Yeah, they've cut expenses. Like we as an organization, we did the same thing.
Yeah.
We cut a lot of expenses, and you and I were small talking about fundraising events for charities and all, and the break. A lot of those things were canceled, which hurts the revenue, but it also puts down on the expense side.
Yeah.
And so when you have all these companies who have big travel budgets and everything, when all that was cut down, it did allow them to, for 1 year, reserve some capital that they can now reinsert once they feel like the economy is ready for it.
Let's talk about Washington for a moment. Luke Letlow taking over from Ralph Abraham. I think is a win for business. He's always been very pro-business.
He's great. He's fantastic. And besides even pro-business, he's just a good, down-to-earth, reasonable guy who's going to do the right thing.
And you told me personally that Cedric Richmond, the Democratic congressman from the New Orleans area and partially in Baton Rouge, was a very good friend to LABI, which is somewhat unusual.
He may not want that presented out there.
Yeah, but for a Democratic congressman, so we're going to have to wait and see what happens there.
That's right.
I think it's pretty much a lead pipe cinch, and another Democrat is going to get elected. But
without a doubt,
that's the purpose of District 2.
Yeah,
it's a majority minority.
It's a heavily Democratic seat. Another Democrat will get elected there.
But the position in Washington for LABI and therefore for business in Louisiana is still pretty strong.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt. Look, in the last administration, we were blessed with a couple of spots. And the one that jumps out to me is Department of Energy. You had Secretary Dan Brouillette leading that charge. He was not just a fantastic, public servant for the country, but also very pro-Louisiana, grew up in Napoleonville. His senior deputy team was a lot of Louisiana guys, so we had a great rapport with the Department of Energy during that era. We don't have that now, and so we do have some losses. I don't want to sugarcoat that, but I do think Cedric going into the White House is a great development for Louisiana. I think he understands what makes us tick. He understands, quite frankly, where some potential common ground is on the left and right, and there may be times where he can't get the machine that he's either representing or the machine he's working on the other side of the table with to get there, but he'll always know where those paths are. And so I think he'll be an open door and an open ear to folks back home in Louisiana, so it's a good development he's going inside the White House.
It's a little confusing to me because, granted, when a president or a president-elect calls you up and says, be on my team, who says no? But he could have held that congressional seat until he was 80 if he wanted to. So there's always that you've got the job security. Why give that up? And I guess he thinks he can do more good or affect more change as a member of the president's team.
Well, it's not like you're talking about Garrett Graves, who represents a pretty solidly well-moneyed district. Cedric was representing a district that had a lot of needs and a lot of wants, and not a very, very high educational level in general.
Right.
This gets him to play in a bigger sphere without having to respond to the day-to-day of a district that needs everything. I think it was probably a good move for him.
Look, I think our delegation, I don't care who you're talking about, Republican, Democrat, whatever, I think they all kind of go in office for the right reasons. They want to make a difference. And I know it sounds corny, and people, who aren't involved in politics say, oh, they're just trying to go and get powerful and do X, Y, Z. I think they want to make a difference. And I think Cedric kind of looked at all the cards on the table and said, look, I can stay here in this seat for another decade or two, like you mentioned, and I can make a difference there, but I may be in and out of the minority on the House side. I may get in leadership, I may not. I may be able to move up, I may stay stagnant. You just don't know. There's variables there. Or I could go in right now in a new administration, put a new team together, have the president's ear. I might be able to make a lot of impact in the first couple of years. This is the one shot to try that. And so if I had to guess, and he didn't tell me this, you look at all the cards, say, how can I make the most impact? it's probably more of a sure thing to go into the White House, try to get the president's ear for a couple of years, see what can happen, as compared to see if the next decade or two in this congressional seat turns into something where you can see true change.
Being an advisor to the president is certainly going to open career doors
Without a
for him
doubt.
down the road.
Without a doubt. There's no doubt that his Rolodex is going to expand greatly, and when you come out, that's a marketable item, especially, you know, if that president gets reelected and it turns into a second term. I mean, that's obviously a tremendously marketable asset that he can use however he wants to.
Let's talk a little bit about our business sectors in Louisiana. And I know that this doesn't happen regularly, and it doesn't happen on the level in which you're directly involved, but you know, when you have a major world player like Shell pull the plug on a huge refining plant in Geismar, it leaves a mark.
It hurts.
And they're trying to market that facility to somebody else, and they may have a good chance of doing that.
Sure.
But what industries do we all need to try to support, should we be concerned about in Louisiana right now from where you sit?
Look, I am worried about our traditional bread and butter. If you look at what we traditionally are, we are energy, we are hospitality, we are manufacturing, we are industrial construction. Look, that's the bread and butter of what we do. And look, we have a growing tech sector, I love it. We have growing other parts of the economy, I love it all. Healthcare is booming, that's great. But let's be honest with what we have been for years and years and years. Those are the industries that I'm most worried about because they're under attack on multiple fronts. You've got little grassroots groups here that do everything they can to throw sand in the gears of those sectors. Together Louisiana is obviously the perfect example. Nationally, excuse me, it's very cool in some of the pockets of this incoming administration to bash legacy industries like that. I want to make sure that these new appointments coming in, you know, have a partnership approach to domestic energy and domestic manufacturing instead of an adversarial. We will see how that goes. And also, look, we have to recognize we are fighting with Texas and other countries, maybe some of the Dakotas and Oklahoma. Basically, it's Texas and other countries for every bit of energy and manufacturing we can keep and get. That's who we're fighting with. And right now, Louisiana is not realizing we're in a battle. We have a bad messaging program towards them. We beat up on those industries. Our tax code, when it changes for the worse. ITEP has been turned on its head. It doesn't help those folks. The legal climate is what it is. We were able to fix some of it last year on the insurance crisis, but we still got a lot more to do to make a legal climate better on the energy front. So part of the reason why I'm wearing my fatigues today is to send the message. 2020 is in the rearview mirror. It's time to get 2021. And 2021 is the year Louisiana has to compete. We got to realize our backs are against the wall and we have to compete. And I think we have to go to war with Texas and other countries and salvage those traditional bread and butter jobs we've had in Louisiana. Doesn't mean we don't grow and diversify our economy at the same time. But if we, the business community, we citizens of the state, we, the working families that have enjoyed those jobs for years and years and years, just sit back and say, you know what? We're going to let the cancel culture tell us that all those jobs are bad and chase them away, then shame on us for letting that happen. It's time for us to fight back and compete in 2021.
But you know, you talked about the message, and I have noticed this for years, and I thought maybe I was misreading it. But we don't talk about, I think the biggest thing that we've got to offer to heavy industry is we have got the best transportation infrastructure in the Deep South with the Intercoastal, the Atchafalaya, the Mississippi, the ports, and then how close they are to rail lines, interstate highways, and airports. We could be the intermodal capital of the South if we wanted to.
There is truth to that, Bill, but there's an asterisk in everything in Louisiana. And for all those ports, you got to hire a river pilot to babysit you down the river to get to the mouth. And those river pilots go up and down with their rates and their access and everything. That is an annoyance. And for all those ports we have, which are all great and fantastic, it bleeds the investment of port priority. None of them are getting the investments they need in order to really battle with Houston and Mobile aggressively for those big open container, huge barges we need. So yes, we have that. We've been blessed with great resources in the river, and we put good pipeline infrastructure in place. But we have to realize that we are battling other states and not be ashamed as a state to say we want to beat Texas when it comes to energy and manufacturing. Right now, I feel like a lot of our leaders are apologetic that we are focused on manufacturing and energy. They almost feel bad about it, and every time a facility or an investment leaves, there's a piece of them that says, all right, cool, that's one step closer to rebranding our economy to some touchy-feely, economy that doesn't really fit our people.
And isn't going to pay $38 an hour to workers from
Look,
here.
if that touchy-feely economy can do that, I'm all in. But I haven't seen the data to show that chasing away an energy manufacturing job is going to help working families in Louisiana.
No.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Stephen, I want to ask you, but you mentioned ITEPS a few minutes ago, Industrial Tax Exemption Program. Some people see that as a big incentive to grow business, grow jobs. Some people look at it as a big federal tax or a state tax giveaway. I got some questions about it when we come back.
Amen.
Exiles returns in a moment.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I owed the IRS $10,000. The IRS garnished my wages. They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Welcome back, Exiles TV. Along with us this morning, Stephen Waguespack, who is the president and CEO of Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. We're talking about the business climate as we end 2020 and get ready for 2021. And Kevin, you had something you wanted to talk to Stephen about.
At what point did the whole idea of an industrial tax exemption program become a dirty word, and who made it so? I was reading the other day that a wonderful opportunity for the city of New Orleans, New Orleans is up against it. They have been for 15 years. They had a deal cooking with Folgers to bring hundreds of jobs to the city. And the moment an ITEP was discussed, the Together Louisiana folks moved in, got the mayor's ear, and put the kibosh on it. And now, no Folgers, no jobs. Why is ITEP such a dirty word to people?
Well, this administration has made it a policy priority to turn it into a dirty word. I mean, let's be honest, that's what it is. And you mentioned Together Louisiana, and they're the group that has been right there, at the arm of the administration to get that done. ITEP, what it is for folks who are listening back home, is the Industrial Tax Exemption Program. And basically what it used to say is there was a one-stop shop. And this goes back to like the McKithen era, when McKithen said, you know, we're going to turn that corridor between New Orleans and Baton Rouge into an industrial chemical manufacturing, you know, marketplace. And it created tremendous opportunities for the people in that region and for the state. And so basically when they created that pathway, the ITEP came in along with right to work. And those are the two things, right to work laws and ITEP, which attracted industry to come here. And so thankfully right to work is still in place, but ITEP's been turned over on its head. And what it used to say is you can go to one-stop shop, you could go to the Board of Commerce and Industry, you could put together your plan. We're going to build a plant, or we're going to reinvest in a plant to make sure that it stays modern and capable of competing you know, with our competitors around the world. And if we do that, you're going to give us a 10-year exemption where you wouldn't have to pay the property taxes as you're putting those massive investments on there and as it takes time for that to go into place. But after 10 years, it goes on the books. And so look, that's kind of the plan. It attracted a lot of investment.
And that 10 years goes by quickly.
When you build, and this isn't like building a house or an outdoor kitchen at your home. This is building a major facility or putting a retrofit on a major facility. And what happened was when the administration came in, they said, look, we don't like that. We're going to tear that up. We don't like the one-stop shop. We're going to kick it down to the locals and let school boards and local police juries make economic development decisions for the state. And when that happened, groups like Together Louisiana saw blood in the water and said, we're going to go down and we're going to protest and we're going to go after those local groups because we know that we can intimidate a school board member or a local police jury. And that's what's happening. And so now it's very cool around Louisiana at the local level to say, yeah, we're against that, we're against that, we're against that. It's very cool to chase away those jobs. But what happens is, then you see something like Shell that you mentioned, where they close down the facility. And the first thing that happens is our phone starts ringing, not just from the big facility, but from t-shirt vendors, coffee shops, restaurants,
caterers,
and school boards, local governments. And they're going to say, well, what are we going to do? We're going to lose all this revenue. We were using that revenue to hire policemen, firemen, build roads, have good quality wages. Our teachers are the third highest, you know, paid in the state. All these things we were hearing, and you really want to say, time out, y'all been telling us for years, ITEP does nothing but take from these regions. Yet as soon as this goes away, the first thing we hear is all the lost revenue that's there. So to me, that was the proof that you needed to see that those regions benefit strongly from those big investments. ITEP brings those investments to Louisiana. When the governor came in and said he didn't like it and decided to turn on its head, that's prerogative. But he also has a duty to fix it. And if he didn't like the old way it was, you got to fix it in a way that works. Right now, we are living in a purgatory on ITEP. The haters don't really like it the way it's been broken. The people who want it to work don't like the way it's been, you know, fixed. It's not right. And so right now it's not doing the job, and that's why Texas and other countries are cleaning our clock on this front.
What the problem I have with all of this is the people who are mounting these protests are not creating any jobs. They are not creating any revenue of their own. And these school boards and these police juries, so we get Kevin Gallagher Enterprises that's going to employ 75 people, and they're going to be paying sales tax and real estate tax when they buy homes and things like that, that's going to go to the school board. And they let Together Baton Rouge or another group say, no ITEP. So they don't get the money anyway. It's not logical.
It's not logical. And this isn't some organic neighborhood group that popped up. Let's be honest. This is George Soros funding
the Industrial
groups like
Cities
this
Foundation
all around the country. This is our Louisiana version of the Soros investment. This isn't some neighborhood group who decided to go from making brownies to protesting plants. This is a targeted approach to go after domestic industry. And this is Louisiana's version of it. And it's only going to get more and more until people stand up and say, wait a minute. And look, I think when a couple of these plants close down and leave, and years from now, what we're going to see is teacher pay in that region is going to go down. Local tax collections in that region is going to go down.
All the jobs that are lost.
And the restaurants are going to close. The main streets are going to dry up there. And they're going to realize that those big facilities, those big plants at lunchtime, when 400 people used to go into the town to get lunch and make a purchase or two while they're there and go into the plant, now at lunchtime, no one leaves a facility that's shuttered. No one leaves a facility that's closed. And I think regions are going to see that. And I'm hoping at that point, there's that wake up moment and say, you know what, that Pied Piper over there in the corner called Together Louisiana, their song don't work. It's a lie, because it is. It's just hard to have that proof there. And I think we're going to start seeing that. And I think 2021 could be the year that we finally can expose it for what it is.
Well, even the name of George Soros' organization, the Industrial Cities Foundation, that suggests to me somehow that you want to support industry and cities that harbor industry. And it seems like
that would be a false assumption.
The mission is exactly the opposite. It's
Yeah.
to destroy industry in those cities.
You know, the best
and
I can,
replace it with what?
The best I can tell is that their initial vibe is just to tear down industry, to expose them for what they are, to be against these big facilities. But as far as replacing it with what, they don't really go there. I think their view is those industries are just takers from society, and if we can just get away with them, the taking will stop and people will benefit. It's a ludicrous argument to make. Now maybe they say, no, once we tear down those legacy industries, we'll insert these new industries we think are more holistic and beneficial. But I haven't heard them make that argument.
Not
I
in
haven't
my
seen the numbers
lifetime.
behind it. I haven't seen the data that shows if that's the debate they want to have, I'm all in. Can't wait to have it. Right now, it's just been a message of opposition to industry, to energy, to manufacturing, with no real replacement suggestion on the back end.
Well, Baton Rouge would be a good place to actually do the survey work, because I would venture that we probably in our city here have 20 to 30,000 people who are making a very, very large retirement income and having their benefits paid for from places like Exxon, now ExxonMobil, and Dow, and Copolymer, and all the rest. And you cannot replace those kind of jobs at those kind of wages and those kind of benefits, which the people obviously want, with some paper-pushing industry, because they're not going to have anybody to sell to or do accounting for.
And I'm telling you, if you say Exxon, you mentioned Exxon, I think that would be the holy grail for Together Louisiana. If they could ever chase that facility away, that would be their holy grail.
Well, they've already hurt them.
And if that gets chased away, just so you know, Exxon's going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go and put more additions to another facility somewhere else in Texas, and they're going to find a way to make their product and ship it. They're going to be fine. Think of all the spin-off people, industries, small business, restaurants in Baton Rouge and Louisiana depend on that investment being there. Those are the ones that are going to get hurt with no real solution left to them but to get Louisiana.
Oh, and by the way, they are also the largest taxpayer in East Baton Rouge Parish.
Yes. Correct. And have been for as long as we can all remember.
Stephen Waguespack with LABI. Let's do this again right after the beginning of the year, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas. Appreciate you guys. I hope you had a fantastic year besides the awfulness that is 2020, and I look forward to working with you.
We made the best of it. You know, I mean, it's all any of us can do is make the best of it.
We're still here. Thanks in large part to you, by the way.
Well, I appreciate it.
We will be back to wrap up the show in just a moment on Exiles TV. Stick around.
Caught spiders?
Premier Pest Services.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer welcomes you to our biggest clearance sale of the year, the Happy Honda Day sales event. Get year-end clearance pricing on over 900 new Hondas, plus a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Honda. Save thousands on your new Honda right here at Team Honda.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Welcome back as we wrap up today's Exiles TV program. In case you didn't know, there's the names Bill Profita, me, Kevin Gallagher.
Yeah.
Glad to have you with us. Bill, would you eat a genetically engineered pig?
As I want to say, I will try anything once. I have eaten some stuff you don't even want to know about. But how does it taste?
You sound like that Rambo movie. Eat things that make a billy goat puke.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. U.S. regulators have approved a genetically modified pig for food and medical products, making it the second animal to get the green light for human consumption. But, however, the company behind genetically modifying the pig says they have no immediate plans to sell it for its meat. The pig is genetically engineered to eliminate the presence of something called alpha-gal. Alpha-gal is a type of sugar found in many mammals and their flesh. The sugar makes its way into many products, including medications, cosmetics, food, and can cause allergic reactions in some people. Also, alpha-gal is the reason why ham is ham's usually sweet. People like ham.
Bacon's usually sweet.
Yeah, people like ham. Bacon has a flavor profile unique to any other food. There's no other food that has a flavor profile like bacon. There's even a name for that flavor, umami.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really apply to anything but bacon. Anyway, United Therapeutics Corporation is developing medical products using pork. And this is primarily what they're going to do, but they have hopes that down the line they can release naturally grown and bred, lower sugar pork and ham products.
If it doesn't taste good, I'm not going to eat it. But you know, we have used porcine medical products for 50 years in this country.
Mm-hmm.
The original heart valve replacements for your tricuspid valve were pig valves.
Mm-hmm.
We use them for burn patients for skin.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of similarities. So for that purpose, great. But if it's not going to taste like bacon, I'm not going to eat it.
My experience with food that has been modified in order to make it more healthy for me to consume is that more healthy usually means I don't like it as much as I used to.
Doesn't taste as good, yeah.
Yeah. Recently, Burger King did an ad campaign saying, well, first they've got a Whopper that they call the
Impossible Burger, yeah.
Yeah, that is made from plants. It's like, well, what plants? I'd like to know what plants, please.
Mm-hmm.
But then they also announced that their number one selling burger, the Whopper, they said, we're now no longer going to use any artificial flavors in any of our foods, including the Whopper. Have you had a Whopper from Burger King?
Not in a long time.
Well, they don't taste like they used to because there's no more of that nice artificial flame-broiled flavor. You know, Burger King got so bad that they weren't flame-broiling the burgers at all. It used to be Burger King had a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
And flame. You could go in there and watch the burgers, but you can't see that at a Burger King anymore. It got where the Whoppers had flavoring in streaks across them to give them grill marks, and the grill marks had flavoring in them, and it had that wonderful flame broiled taste. But now the Whopper is blah. It's kind of the most of the flavor you get is from the vegetables and the condiments.
When I tell you that I love fast food, I mean it sincerely. But I have not had a fast food burger from Burger King in a very long time.
Well, you haven't missed anything, Bill.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame because I I like the convenience, but I like the flavor.
Well, for my money, and there aren't enough of them left in Baton Rouge anymore, and I don't know why that is, but for my money, as far as fast food, drive up to the window, get the Wendy's best cheeseburger available in the world of fast food. Because when you got it, it tasted like beef. It's like, holy crap, this actually tastes like beef.
And it's good car food because it all stays in one piece in your hand. Nothing drops in your lap
And
while
they
you're driving
assemble
and trying to eat it.
You order the burger, they take the patty, they assemble the burger. The burger is not sitting there waiting for somebody to buy it.
Cheese sticks to it because it's hot.
One complaint that a good friend of mine always had about McDonald's and Burger King was that sometimes the burgers are assembled and they're waiting for order, and then they pop them in the micro and give them a little touch up. And he said one should never scald one's mouth on a tomato.
No.
That just ain't right. But for my money, if I'm going to do fast food, Wendy's. But the number of Wendy's in this city is dwindling. What's up with that? It's like Arby's. There's like one Arby's left in Baton Rouge.
All right, now, I know that you like shopping at Albertsons. I do as well. They have a new feature now. On Mondays at Albertsons, starting at 11 a.m., it is Fried Chicken Monday. And they make it fresh all day long, and it's $5.99 for 8 pieces. And this puts Popeyes to shame.
I'm willing to tell you that. I will attest. It's like I've got a Popeyes right next door to the Albertsons, and for my money, I'll go to Albertsons to get my fried chicken.
Yeah, now it is a heart attack on a plate or in a bag.
Well, that's why, I have fried chicken maybe once a month.
I used it in jambalaya, and it stayed
Just
juicy and
bought the fried chicken and tore it up to make jambalaya?
You betcha.
That's smart.
One for the jambalaya, one for me, one for the jambalaya.
Very, very smart. Hey, tomorrow, speaking of very, very smart, we're going to have a very, very smart guest. Daniel Erspamer is with the Pelican Institute, which is, for lack of a better word, a think tank. And they're concerned with making life better for everybody in Louisiana. We'll talk with Daniel about hopes for 2021 and more coming up on tomorrow's program.
We're going to have him think right in front of you folks. Yep. It'll be interesting.
We'll watch him think.
We'll watch him think.
Until tomorrow, we hope you have a wonderful day. Try and stay warm. It's chilly outside.
Stay well. It is cold out there. And let me know if you see any flakes coming out of those clouds. It won't stick,
Clarence Bugs.
It's cold up there. Be well.
Clarence is up next. You take care. God bless.
Bye-bye.